Hi everyone, so if you're new here, I'm Damaris, and today I wanted to talk about the Wild deodorant. So this is a full review of the Wild deodorant that I bought a couple of weeks ago. So first of all, Wild is a London-based company. I believe they do ship internationally, but of course I'm in the UK, so the shipping didn't take very long for me. So what you do, how the Wild service works, is that you buy a case first of all, and I actually used a friend's code for a free case. So if you were interested in buying this yourself, I'll leave a link in the description box for my code for a free case, basically, because that'll save you some money. So I'll show a picture of when it first arrived, actually, when I unpacked it. I did actually film a clip of me putting it together, but I was quite ill at the time, so the clip's terrible, so I can't use that. But it's quite simple. They've just got these little buttons on the side. I think maybe in order to change it, you have to make sure that it's right down to the bottom, and then you can squeeze these and it comes off. So when I first put it together, this is literally just a compostable refill. What's it made from? I think it was made from bamboo pulp, if I remember correctly. So I bought the Coconut Dreams sensitive fragrance. So it's got a very, very light fragrance to it. The deodorant itself is vegan ingredients and aluminium free as well. So when it comes, you literally just plop it on top of this bit and put it in until it's secure. So then you just twist the bottom to get it up to the top. I can imagine that these would last quite a decent amount of time, because I've been using it every day for a couple of weeks and it's lasted me ages. And I know a friend of mine bought her first refill for a Wild deodorant back in July, and I think she's only just ran out of that one refill. So that's quite a few months if you think about it. So August, September, end of October. So that's at least 3 months that it actually lasted her. And from what she said, I think she maybe applied a couple of times a day. So this will last a reasonable amount of time. So I got the case free. This was a limited edition Pride case, which I loved. Obviously it goes with my whole vibe. So this was definitely me. So I wanted to order this particular one. And I think the case is usually about £7, but I got it free using my friend's code. And so I think I only paid £5 for the actual refill that goes into it. So I didn't think that was too bad. I did sign up for the subscription though, which I have actually cancelled just because I'm the sort of person that might forget about a subscription and I didn't want to miss it in my emails, so I cancelled it. But of course, signing up to the subscription anyway will save you money, so you could potentially do what I did and cancel it if you didn't want to be tied into a subscription. But it's definitely a great way of saving money. As for my actual review, so I've seen myself a lot of reviews for people trying the Wild deodorant, and it was kind of mixed opinions. There were some people that really loved it, and there were others that said that it left like a bit of a residue and felt sort of like a little bit sticky. So I wanted to just give my honest review and tell you how I got on with it. Because over the last 10 years or so, I have only used natural deodorants, and the one that I used for the most amount of time was a Lush deodorant. They do a Ramaco or something, I think it's called, and I used that one for years and years. It was my favourite for a while. But the downside with the Lush deodorant was that it leaves like a sort of yellowish residue on dark clothes. And because I'm a sort of person, I love like black vest tops and, you know, dark underwear, that sort of thing. So that's my preferred shade, and having a like yellow residue on my clothes wasn't the best, so I was trying to find an alternative to the Lush deodorant for a while, and I've tried so many over the last like year and a half or so, and a lot of them just didn't work for me at all. And I wouldn't say I'm a massively sweaty person, but I'm not a person that doesn't sweat very much either. I'm sort of somewhere in between. But some of the deodorants I was just finding, they would either leave white marks on my clothes, or they just wouldn't work that well, and I would have to use a combination of a few different deodorants in order to get something that would actually last all day, which is not obviously very ideal. I did do a video back along reporting using the Himalayan salt deodorant, which is quite literally just a lump of Himalayan pink salt, and that did work fairly well for me over winter time. But then as soon as spring sort of hit earlier on in the year, it wasn't working on its own. I had to use it in combination with something else. So, oops, I've just rambled on and on. But I will say that with this wild deodorant, first of all, it doesn't leave any residue on my clothes whatsoever. I think sometimes it does feel a little bit sticky, I would say, when after you first apply it, and for maybe the first hour or so of the day, it does feel a little bit sticky under your armpits. But it's not terrible, and that sort of stickiness goes away quite quickly, and like I said, it doesn't leave any residue on my clothes, which was a big thing for me. The deodorant I was using just before was very white, and it just left marks all over my clothes. I had to be really careful about how I applied it, which was just a pain, to be honest. So I'm really pleased with this one. It works amazing. This one's got a very faint fragrance. I was supposed to record this video last week, and I couldn't do it because I had a little bit of a cold and I couldn't smell anything. So I couldn't actually smell if this was working, but now it's got a very, very faint coconut fragrance to it, which is good for me because I don't like anything too overpowering. I'm not a big fan of really fragranced things, in the last few years in particular, I don't like heavy, strong fragrances. So this one is perfect, and at the time I think there was only a couple in the sensitive fragrance section that would be suitable for me. So there was this and another one that was available, and I chose this one, and I'm happy that this was the one that I chose. I'm happy that this was the fragrance that I chose because I think it's very light, it's got a slight fragrance, you can tell it's working because then you can sort of very faintly smell it, but it's not too overpowering enough to put me off, sort of thing. So yes, I'm really impressed with how well this deodorant does actually work. I'm definitely converted. This, like a roll-on stick deodorant, would not have been something that I would think would be my preferred option at all, because like I said, I used a Lush deodorant for years, and that's like a solid deodorant, which once it gets down really small, it does start to become a real pain to try and use it, and you're forever dropping it because it's like this big and you're trying to, rub it under your armpits, and that wasn't really ideal. This whole idea is amazing. Obviously you can pick various other cases on their website which might be more to your taste. I think there was an option for a bit of extra money, you can personalise the case as well. I'm not quite sure what that meant exactly, whether that meant getting something with your name on it perhaps. I didn't actually look into that because I wasn't really that bothered. I just wanted to order this case because I love it, it's very me, and I'm always a Pride ally, so this just seemed a great case for me. There are plenty of other cases to choose from, like I said, so you can pick something that is much more your style. So yes, like I said, I am really impressed with this. I will, as soon as this one has ran out, I will replace it. I'll get possibly the same refill if I can. As for keeping me smelling good, it definitely does. I've noticed when I've been sweating a little bit, I can smell that it's working and I just don't smell bad. So to me, that's amazing. After the struggles I've had over the last 1.5 to 2 years, trying to find a deodorant, a natural deodorant that actually works for me, it's been a struggle. So I'm really glad I took the chance and tried this one because it works amazing. For me personally, as somebody that's usually more sensitive to deodorants, I picked from the sensitive range, which is baking soda free, because I know that I can be very sensitive to baking soda under my arms, so I didn't want to do that. And this coconut fragrance is amazing. So next I just wanted to do the weekly quote, which is, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. And that's a Dr. Seuss quote from the Lorax. I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Seuss, but I love the Dr. Seuss books, and the Lorax itself is very environmental. So if you haven't read that or watched the film, I believe there's a film now. If you've not watched that, go and find it because it's a great one. So if you're in particular interested in reviews, I think this video here would probably be a good one to watch next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.